Hello, Tuskegee University students. This is Dr. Gerald Griffin, and today I will be discussing major topics related to sleep and circadian rhythms. Why do we need to sleep? Well, sleep has multiple functions. One is to allow our bodies to rejuvenate. In addition, your immune system, immune cells are rejuvenated and restored, as well as growth factors are synthesized and released, allowing for maintenance of cells. As well, it has been postulated that sleep is the place where memory is consolidated and there's a replaying of neural activity to allow strengthening of what you have learned during the day during the wake hours. One of the key diseases that shows the importance of sleep is fatal familial insomnia, or FFI. Fatal familial insomnia is a prion disease where the PRP protein misfolds. This allows for neurons to die, specifically in the thalamus, allowing for a dysregulation of the mechanisms that generate sleep. Individuals are insomniacs in the proper form. They cannot sleep, and they will not sleep after this lack of sleep, this insomnia begins around 20 to 30 years of age in some, and around 50 to 60 in other forms. Within presenting these insomniac symptoms, patients are die typically within 18 months. Here's a video that I will show on Blackboard as a link, so you will be able to watch the video in full related to fatal familial genetics. First, I want to go back and talk about what sleep is and the stages of sleep. This is a typical sleep pattern where you are awake around 10:30 p.m. and then you begin to go through the major stages of non-REM sleep, S1 through 4, and as you go throughout sleep, you have bouts of REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, and then some bouts of non-REM, and then more REM sleep. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night and come through bouts of non-REM sleep. And as you can see, as the morning or night progresses, if you will, you elongate periods of REM, rapid eye movement sleep. Our brain is a key indicator of what state of wakefulness of sleep or sleep we are in. When we are awake and alert, there are typical alpha and beta waves present. These alpha and beta waves represent multiple, on the order of hundreds and thousands, of neurons in our cortex that can be recorded through an electroencephalogram, or EEG. During wakefulness, there are vivid, externally generated sensations, for as you watching this video, so hopefully you are still awake. You will also hopefully be having logical, progressive thoughts as you walk through this video during your wakeful period. And as well, a wakefulness is characterized by voluntary movement. During non-REM sleep, we have the presence of theta and delta waves. These are large amplitude waves with slow frequency that we'll see detailed in a few minutes. We are absent of sensations because our body is, quote unquote, unaware of our external environment. Yet, while thoughts are logical, we do have repetitive thoughts. So they continue over and over again. And you might see this through sleepwalking or night terrors during non-REM sleep. Non-REM sleep is also characterized by involuntary movement. During REM sleep, or rapid eye movement, rapid, R-A-P-I-D, eye movement sleep, is characterized by beta waves. These are fast, quick waves, high frequency, small amplitude. Here, we have vivid, internally generated sensations. While you may feel the feeling or the sensation of falling during a dream, or you feel the wind against your quote unquote skin if you're dreaming that you are outside. These thoughts are rather illogical, which is why you sometimes will have dreams that don't make entirely quote unquote good sense. Another major component of REM sleep is sleep atonia, which means that everywhere from the neck down, your body is paralyzed. This sleep paralysis is quite necessary so that you do not act out your dreams and hurt yourself or others. Here are some EEG forms presented. During a wakefulness, see, we have random, fast, high frequency waves. These are the alpha and beta waves. While you become drowsy, these waves can slow down, as we see here, but we still have alpha waves characterized by their amplitude. During REM sleep, you see that the frequency does go down somewhat, but the amplitude stays very similar. And so, based on EEG, REM sleep looks very similar to the drowsy or wakefulness state. In fact, REM sleep is said to be time where your brain is awake, but your body is asleep. During stages 1 to 3, stage 1 and 2 of non-REM sleep, you begin to see the frequency slow down as characterized by these theta waves indicated here on this EEG graph. During stage 2, further frequency slows down. We get some large amplitudes, is represented here as this K complex during stage 2 of non-REM sleep. And lastly, the delta sleep, or stage 3 to 4, we have very large waves, high amplitude, low frequency. And this is a key indicator of non-REM sleep in its deepest form. How do these mechanisms, how do these waves, how are they generated? How are they maintained? Well, in particular, your brainstem plays a major role in promoting wakefulness. In fact, neurons in your brainstem will use the norepinephrine as well as serotonin to enhance alertness. To fall asleep, these systems must be turned down and or off, or turn the dial down. So we must block norepinephrine receptors or serotonin receptors, or clear the norepinephrine and serotonin to allow for sleep to occur. During the non-REM states, the thalamus is the key component. The slow sleep-related rhythms that we saw in the previous slide are generated and maintained by the thalamus. These rhythms block the flow of sensory information into the cortex. Remember, the thalamus is the major sensory relay nucleus, relay signal in the brain. So turning this down, turning the neural activity down here, will block the flow of sensory information, causing us to not be able to perceive the presence or actions in the external environment. The thalamus is critical for you to advance into non-REM states. But what about the REM period of sleep, the rapid eye movement? It turns out acetylcholine has a very important job. Acetylcholine in the cortex is going to actually promote those high frequency waves and increase neuronal activity, allowing for dreams, allowing for your mind, if you will, to be awake during this part of sleep. Whereas acetylcholine in the pons is critical for inhibiting spinal motor neurons, allowing for the sleep atonia, the sleep paralysis that allows for our body to be asleep and immobile during REM sleep. Excuse me. Those are the key highlights of sleep that you should focus on when studying this chapter. What about circadian rhythms? What are they? Essentially, we all have a rhythm. We wake up, we go to our classes, we go to work, we do about our day, we study, we eat. We all have a rhythm of day-to-day life. Circadian comes from the words meaning about a day. In fact, we are relatively quote unquote free running. If you were to put us in a black box with no outside cues such as sunlight or roosters crowing, we would maintain about a 26 to 27-hour quote unquote day where we would get up, be active, walk around, and well as we would then fall to sleep to get rest. Those outside cues, such as the sun and the rooster crowing, are called zeitgebers, literally meaning timekeepers. These are the cues in our external environment that give us some signal of what time of day it is. And as we perceive these cues, our body is able to alter behavior as well as physiology. Well, how does it do that in a very centralized function? Well, that has to do with the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the SCN. The SCN is located in the hypothalamus just above the optic chiasm. It is our central biological clock and is light sensitive, allowing for it to coordinate all the activities, physiological as well as behavioral, of our entire body and relate them and generate them according to light, according to about a day, which is based on light. There are also some primary genes, we call them the clock genes, that are present in all the cells, allowing for each cell in our body to have its own rhythm, its own small clock, if you will. The main clock genes are period and timeless that have been extensively studied in Drosophila, the common fruit fly, as well as another one that we will talk about is clock. If I zoom this in, just want to show the negative feedback loop of period and timeless. In the nucleus, we have the transcription of period and timeless, shown here in blue and yellow, or this pink, yellow, pinkish color. As this DNA is transcribed and then that mRNA is translated to the period protein, shown here, PER, capital letters, and TIM for timeless in capital letters, these proteins are able to be present in the cytoplasm, but alone they are inactive. Yet, around 30 minutes of time after being produced, period the protein and timeless the protein are able to bind to each other and dimerize. This dimer is able to further promote the inhibition of clock and cycle. CLK for clock and CYC for cycle. Why is this important and how is this negative feedback inhibition? Well, clock and cycle joined together act as transcription factors to promote the transcription of the period gene as well as the timeless gene. So, when period and timeless join together, they inhibit the activity of clock cycle complex, which then further inhibit the transcription of period and timeless. Well, how do we stop this negative feedback? The answer is light. Light will come in and degrade timeless and render period inactive, given that it cannot dimerize with its preferred partner of timeless. Since there is no period timeless dimer, clock and cycle are not inhibited and they are free to upregulate the genetic expression of period DNA as well as timeless DNA. These were the major concepts related to sleep, its mechanisms, as well as some molecular mechanisms that allow for your circadian rhythms. Remember that a key influence is the Zeitgeber of light. And in fact, the whole body is centrally regulated on a central clock denoted and located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. In fact, if you lesion the SCN in rodents, the clock is altered, and major output rhythms of physiology and behavior are drastically affected. These were the major concepts related to sleep and circadian rhythms in reference to Biology 315 General Neurobiology at Tuskegee University. This is Dr. Griffin, and have a great day.